Yeah. It was horrible, dude. It was horror on earth, dude. It's I swear to God, I was telling you, I felt like I wasn't sweating. It was like my soul evaporating from my body. It was so fucking hot in armor, dude. Like
when we got out and started fighting, after like the second battle, I started feeling anxious. Like, fuck,
I'm gonna die.
Something's
I'm gonna die.
Something's gonna happen.
Yeah, they call that like preheat stroke.
Yes, so I had to stop.
All that. So yeah.
And then like I'm fighting these guys.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm fighting these three guys, and I kill one of them, and I'm like, no. I want them to kill me so I can quit. And I kill the second guy, and I'm like, no.
Oh my God.
And the other guy rushed in, and I just let him kill me. I'm like, thank God. I just went over and just started drinking water, man. I was like, I'm done. And I just looked at everybody and go, you guys done?
They stopped fighting a couple battles after that, too.
Oh, yeah. Like, we made it, like, through, like, 4 battles, and then we were all done. Because we're all old, dude.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
I mean, even the
so we called it quits, and, like, but
yeah,
even, like, the young ones, like, they only went, like, 2 more battles after us and quit. And I was like, okay, I feel pretty good. And then we'd wake up, and I'd give him a sleeping pill, and I'd take a sleeping pill. We'd go back to sleep. He'd wake up, I'd give him a sleeping pill. I'd take a sleeping pill, go back to sleep. Couple. And then finally he goes, like the blankets are getting like soggy.
They're
and
starting
stuff.
to wick the water
it's the
up
wicking
the
the
sides.
water up the sides.
Oh
And I'm like, let's Uber. We Ubered to a hotel.
Because his truck was bogged.
Because my truck, my F-350 had sunk down to the frame.
Yeah, my F-250 did too. The
that
truck
was
and the
the
trailer had
2019.
That
was the 2019 February war that did that. That's when we first started.
2018 and 2019 did the same thing.
Right, but the one right before COVID, we only had 1 day of rain.
Yeah.
And that was the one that I was
days of
remembering.
rain. It rained from the get-go. And
trust me, the 2019 February war is when we first started dating. Like we were thinking about dating, you know. And then we ended up dating. Didn't break up at that war. Was it 2018?
Because it sucks so bad.
It was 19.
Oh wow, what was that? Like
right?
Schnapp
that was 3
in Arizona.
This big old
years ago.
Farm.
4 years ago. Yeah,
it's like a big, huge farm.
But I remember I'm looking out my RV window in the parking lot, and it was like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and there's this yellow box floating away from my RV.
Oh, dude.
It was my generator. It was literally floating away, dude. It was great. That war was misery.
Like, it was so miserable. And we went to the, oh my God, we felt like we died and went to heaven when we were in that hotel room. We're like, yes, we'd like room service. Oh, let's go take a 45-minute hot shower.
Oh my God.
I mean,
well, hi, everybody. How we doing? You'll notice that then there was 4. We're actually going to take a few moments here to talk about why there's only 4. I have a golden rule. If you can make it to session 5, there's hope. My golden rule failed. We made it to session 5 and there's no hope. No, that's not true. 2 of our players, unfortunately, one cannot commute and the other player has commitments with family that he thought he wasn't going to have beforehand. Tried to make it work, didn't work. His wife was getting too stressed. So we now have 2 open seats. Now, with that in mind, we already have 2 potentials that might fill those spots. We also have another break coming up next Tuesday. And then we'll be back to a normal schedule for the following 2 months after that.
Probably
So
longer
the
than
hope
that.
is I will use that.
Oh, we'll definitely miss for Christmas.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll use that time to get our 2 new players acclimated to the game and get things back on track. I would like to say this is rare, but in the overall scheme of D&D, this is actually kind of a common dilemma. People get started, they love it, and then life kind of takes over. So with that, I am going to be self-reflective, realizing that today I almost fell into the trope of a martyred DM somehow. As much as I try to avoid it, I almost fell into it, and I'm not going to allow myself to do that. So we're going to play tonight. We're at session 6. We're in the mines, and we're going to
Dangling
play.
maggot.
And 2 people just got zapped. Just ashes where the bard was standing.
Yes. No, because Reggie we left out with the
Reggie's-
wagon. So the bard that we have anyway.
Overlooking that big sphincter thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The big
sphincter.
sphincter.
the crystal
That's
That's
sphincter.
how you get into the Underdark. You go through the orifice.
I want to watch that movie again now.
Well, it's on Paramount Plus.
The
We can do
Orifice?
that. You want to watch the orifice again?
No, that's a terrible
The
movie.
Orifice 4 is really better than the Orifice 1, 2, 3. Chicks are hot.
It's good to know that the
The
chicks
chick's
are
way hotter in Orifice
Yeah.
4.
All right. Terrible. Terrible.
So with that in mind, we've been on a long break. So we're going to recap and bring ourselves all the way back, shall we?
Okay.
What?
Tell us how the other people horribly died.
Yeah. Just the bard. Reginald will go missing once you guys realize what's happened to you all. With this in mind, Takit has discovered that he has
That's
been
great.
nominated to take one of the chairs at the council seat. Unfortunately, you have to prove that you have a blood heir. Takit has found recently that he might have either a legitimate or illegitimate blood heir, depending on your perspective of the information. However, there was a little opportunity for somebody who was smuggling goods through his own residential area and within the Crooked Finger itself, actually in the Mired Valley, a person that was a kind of like caretaker of the Takit estate, realizing that the important dignitary from the Spire, or from, let me pull up my maps. Where's my maps?
Was it Crystal Spire?
From the Crown Spire.
Crown Spire.
So the dignitary who had come from the Crown Spire with all of their equipment and everything in tow was kidnapped by this individual. And this individual was using this person as an opportunity to probably extort, or perhaps it's related to the fact that you guys have discovered that these rifles, pistols, and other devices were being distributed throughout the different kingdoms within Luna Verde, and perhaps that something else was afoot. The decision was then to take these stolen goods that you had acquired after attacking their camp and hide them in the old abandoned mines of Takit's family. Unfortunately, you came across a particular creature called a mineral mite, which normally only get about that big. And unfortunately, as you guys defeated it and made your way into the mines, you discovered that somehow there was a collapse or a recent exposure of a deep central pit of the mine that exposed this strange crystalline structure that was emanating arcane energy
That's right.
and light. You lowered Maggot down.
Why did I do that?
It had a name too. Was it like the Arcane Heart or something?
I believe so.
Okay.
I didn't write that down.
Yeah, I don't see it in my notes, but yeah, I remember it had a name.
Well, I described it as a strange orb.
Yeah.
An orb of magic and light is what I had described it as. So
but it was rumored in my history that we had an artifact like that.
Correct.
We're trying to steal it.
I would say also, for brevity, we're going to say that the bard was the first one lowered down to make the investigation. So that as you're being lowered down, the only thing you find are a charred pair of boots and nothing else.
Well, I want to be raised back up.
So as you're
Carefully.
being raised back up by the others that are in the chamber with you, Maggot then proceeds to tell you that he's discovered this large orb and crystalline structure swarming with small versions of the creature that you guys killed outside the mine.
Fireball the darkness.
Currently, there's just the four of you inside. The wagons and everything are left out front with Reggie. You're around the edge of the pit. There are other tunnels that lead off in other directions.
So there were 6 more nurseries.
Yes, potentially.
And there
Potentially
was
6 more nurseries.
copper and
Well, I'm out.
copper.
You watch as Maggot unties, throws the bard's boots on the ground, and they're just
And
kind of.
it's smoky. And I look in one and I go, there's a foot in there. There's a foot in there. I'm out.
What about all the gold he was pocketing?
And that bag, that
coat.
the infinite bag or
No,
whatever.
it's all gone.
Was that a coat in his
was a
pocket? Or
coat.
it was a coat, yeah. Where
There's half of his boots with this. I think that's his ankles
layer.
and feet inside. I don't want to touch
a
them.
liar,
Did you see
layer,
his coat down
mandolin.
there?
Don't remember saying his coat.
Darn, I'm not going to hear his lilting music anymore.
Okay. I'm gonna. How the fuck? I would like to think about it for a few moments
Yeah, he
and
had
try
the
to find
800
an
random coins in
arcane
there.
way to
Why did we have to kill him up like that? I think
Pull
he
the
took his
orb
coat
out.
off before he lowered himself down.
I can do a
There she
thunder
goes.
wave.
There
I'm not
she goes.
familiar with the thunder wave.
Go ahead,
She's so magic at him centric, it's funny.
What are you doing?
how is the orb suspended in the shaft?
It's not suspended. Maggot would have described it as something that looked like it was kind of like driven into the ground, and that the crystalline, like the crystal display, is a jettison of material upward. Give me a nature check as he's describing it to you.
It's a 20.
Crystal, does it look like it's
Yeah.
growths from
right
it
there, there you
or growths?
And this is a what check? Nature, you said?
Nature.
No, 14. 6. I got 6 plus 4 is
So 10?
Yeah.
He's either describing what could be a extrusion of crystalline structure or a collapse of crystalline structure. Maybe describing something that could be a meteor strike.
Let me ask you, what did it look like if this was the ground? How does it look like? Is it coming up like this, or is it flat on the top and down like that?
The second part is how you remember seeing it. It looked like
Like
something
this?
impacted
Yeah.
and made a crater.
Yeah, it looks like a crater full of crystals that I don't want to touch because look,
Because they're shiny. Oh,
the
you don't wanna-
boots.
And they're very sharp
So
too.
it's
I remember
possible.
you were saying they
Are
were
there
very sharp.
any other?
Yes.
So this is we were following a central corkscrew down. that
Correct.
Had like copper and
He
shit.
came in through the main mine, found the vein of material that the mine used to work, and he took it on the ramp all the way down to the bottom. There are 3 tunnels that go to the right, 3 tunnels that go to the left, and once you hit the bottom of this, there's this giant pit that you had originally lowered the bard into to investigate down below.
And the pit is smack dab in the center of the chamber we're in.
Kind of. It's offset. There's still remnants of like old equipment here.
What about the ceiling?
The ceiling is barely visible for the most part because the column of the access ramp that takes you back up to the tunnel, like the tunnel entrance.
Oh, so it's an open pit all the way down.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh.
much an open pit
Okay.
all the way down, except for the cavern ceiling after coming into the main tunnel. You saw 3 tunnels going off to the right and left. smaller tunnels, but nothing that looked like you could fit in. And then this excavation pit that seemed to expose about 100 feet down the crystalline structure.
So there's
50 feet down, sorry.
What color is crystal?
impact crater. Is
Purple, red, green, yellow, and then the main orb that's kind of like effervescent and
Like
giving off
fluorescent?
kind of like a blue essence of light.
what does it look like the bard touched that he, is
There were
the-
crystal protrusions coming out from the sides.
Yeah.
he touched the crystal protrusions and he evaporated?
He just got shocked by something and running left were his smoking boots.
I don't want to get shocked by one of those. My feathers have not recovered from the last shock.
How far down is the crystal from?
About 50 feet.
Let's push
Straight
the-
down.
Do we have
Push
any,
all them arms down there and
do you have
get out
any
of
way
here.
to
I already buried them.
turn rock to mud or anything? Make a tunnel on the side. Try to attack this thing from the side, or see if any of those tunnels go down. But we can't fit in those smaller tunnels, right?
The 3 to the right, 3 to the left you can, but there's dozens of
But there's
other
no tunnels
small
underneath there.
tunnels, but
It comes down to a thing. It's just the orb. There's no
yeah,
tunnels.
you don't
coming
remember
in.
seeing any other tunnels.
Now with the crater, it looks like an impact crater.
Mhm.
Is there a hole in the ceiling like where it would have come through?
Over the pit and upward,
It's way too up there. It's
Or like-
way-
you can see about 100 feet up into the exposure of the pit that you've been walking down into.
Uh-huh.
There's a cavern ceiling up there.
Is there a hole in it?
No.
How did this thing get in here?
Feels old.
It's older than the mountains?
Maybe.
Why don't you ask someone who's
I
old?
know. I know not to
Check
touch
with
it.
the
I think
stars.
we
They're
should
just as
believe.
old. Stars are just as old as it. Well,
Whatever happened to going to that town, that city?
We
Shouldn't
still
we
have
be
to
going there? Find your air.
yeah,
I
We gotta
know,
find his
man.
air.
Some sidetrack.
the power.
Air.
Power here is palpable. Can't you feel it?
Yeah, I know. I really
Yeah,
want to take
that's
this rock
why I
home.
want to leave and go to another town.
I'm studying these spells. to
Preferably
see
a-
if there's anything
preferably
we
a
can apply,
tavern.
but
You know,
I don't know. I don't even. What's
we
this
don't
thunder?
we don't get meat now,
Thunder wave.
We don't get meat
There's
now.
meat in that town. I know it.
but we don't have money to pay for the meat now.
Originally, you guys were going to port over to Crown Spire and seek out the Hammer Strikers and see if you could find Takit's heir.
Mhm.
But then Bronco had stolen Turan
And Tango.
and was going to use that as a way to influence the smuggling of these goods into the other kingdoms, which you guys have now interloped with him because he's now dead. And then you guys decided to stash the equipment here.
I'm going to try something really funky.
Okay.
I'm going to ask for quiet. Please be quiet. I'm going to cast comprehend languages and see if I can hear any language coming from the crystal. Open
Okay.
myself up to it.
No,
Shot.
no. It's actually quiet. It's incredibly quiet down here.
I will address it. I'll lean over the top. Awaken. Answer me.
Give me a persuasion check.
Guidance.
The bard's boots. I hold it up.
17.
D4. That's D4.
Bard's guidance.
21
21.
plus
D4.
Oh,
25.
Okay. You hear a voice come back up out of the pit. Hello? What's going on up there? What do you want?
Is that fucking Grimace?
Now, you
What
hear
voice?
that.
Mhm.
You guys hear. Does anyone speak Goblin?
Yes.
You hear in Goblin language someone say that.
oh, you're a goblin.
Is it Goblin down
Yeah?
there? Are you stuck?
No?
What are
I
you
am
doing down
Takit.
there?
Who are you?
It's not really important, but why are you talking to this pit like it can understand? We're trying to sleep down here.
We?
Yeah. Me and my friends.
How many friends?
I don't know. 50?
Oh, maybe those little things. I
Those
saw
little
down there.
crawling,
Are
centipede
you those little
things.
crawling bugs that down there?
What? Yeah. No. Why would we be a crawling bug?
They're speaking goblin. They're not.
Can you come up and talk to us?
No, don't want to do that. We like it down here.
What's it like down there?
Oh, it's dark. Everything we need is given to us. It's kind of nice.
Given to you by what?
A friend?
Who's the friend?
You ask a lot of questions.
Yes.
Why don't you just come on down and we'll show you?
Okay, how do we get down there?
Just jump in.
I don't want to jump in.
I shake the boots. Do the feet come out, or are they
Well,
gone?
no, because they're locked up into the toe.
But they are in there, right?
Yeah, you can hear
Stumps.
rattling.
Okay. I feel the
You
big
can see
toe.
the charred bone ends of the.
I do the
lower
thing like your
parts of
mom
the-
did when she's putting shoes on you.
Yeah.
Did
I
you see
feel his
our?
big toe in there.
Did you see our friend evaporate?
Oh yeah.
What did he do wrong?
Did
I
he,
went. He didn't jump in.
did he leave any of his stuff? Did you see any of his stuff?
At this point, when you say that, you hear some laughing, and then you hear like, no, none of his stuff down here.
Oh my god, we have to kill him.
Of the lion.
Insight check,
You can make an inside check if you want.
guidance. Are they lying to us?
What would happen if I jumped down there? Yeah,
I know.
might as well do it.
Tempted.
Yeah,
Might as well jump.
leap of faith.
Go ahead.
And jump.
Can I have the keys to the
26?
house?
26. It's surprisingly honest and just playful. They don't seem, the voice doesn't seem nefarious.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what
He's
makes it
telling the
nefarious.
it seems like he's telling the truth.
That's
Just
an
fucking
Ivar
with us.
problem or a maggot problem.
No, I've already.
What do the stars say would happen if I jumped?
Augury. Let's cast augury and see what the stars say for him just jumping in.
You can't see
Should
stars.
he jump in? I don't have to see the stars.
I can detect magic.
Sorry.
No,
You're in a cavern.
because this is.
Well, last time we
Magic.
played, you did detect magic. So there's
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
an aura of magic
Okay.
emanating from the pit, from the effects of the
Arcane
crystalline
magic.
structure.
Okay. Absorb elements.
There goes the
He
boss.
backs up. He does his great Elmer Fudd. Plugs his nose. Just as you cast augury, you
No,
see the
I
key
wasn't.
jump.
No, I was just
He wants me to cast
wait.
augury
No, I
first.
was waiting.
All right.
Wait for the augury.
Okay.
To jump down or not to jump down? That is the question.
There's a bit of a warm breeze of positivity. Come on!
To jump down? The stars are saying jump down.
Fuck it. Boom.
You watch as like Takit's at the edge, it goes and he leaps off. As you drop, you can see the
Jumping
crystalline like crater coming, and you pass through it. And as you pass through it, you land on a big pile of like dust and pulverized pumice that kind of like softens your landing. And the dust billows out from either side of you. And you hear a whole bunch of goblin voices. He did it! And you're surrounded by dozens and dozens of goblin miners.
I'm jumping
And
through.
they start exchanging money. One particular goblin kind of walks up to you. He's got really long pink, green, and red hair tied back in a ponytail. He's wearing miner's equipment and like a helmet with a little like candle sticking out of it. And he just kind of comes walking up to you. Yeah, we learned the hard way that if you're attached to earthly things, you can't make it down here.
Ooh, that makes sense.
Yeah, you were the
How
one
do
that
you
was. You were
Back
the.
out.
Huh?
Come on down.
Okay, ask them if there's a way out. Make
Way
sure there's a
out?
way out.
Why would you want to leave?
Yeah, I know.
This place is great.
I know.
But is there a way out?
They don't
Is
seem
it
to
completely
bother
dark
answering.
in here, or am I getting glow from the bottom?
You're getting glow from the
Okay,
bottom of
so
the
I can
crater.
see. Okay.
Yeah. And looking up as you're yelling up towards Talia, there's a weird kind of smashed spider vein of crystalline structure on the reverse side that's kind of pulsing. It's weird. It almost feels trans-dimensional. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll dig out one of the large uncut sapphires and chuck it to the guy. Say thanks for giving us.
Ow!
Thank you.
Yes, sir, okay.
Did he just eat a stone? I'm not there.
Thank you.
You say you're welcome.
Yeah. Well,
Thanks.
off to work. And you watch as all the goblins go, no, we gotta wait for the others. I got money on this.
Come on down, guys. Just make sure you're not grounded.
I'm gonna
straight
go
through
back
the middle.
up. I turn around. I'll go back up. I'll go back up to him. Hey.
As you go back up to him, he
Yeah.
is sitting against a wagon wheel. He's got half a burnt spliff in his
You
mouth.
mean
Uh,
Reggie?
No,
Me.
I thought you
right
were
there
with
was
Reggie.
left up
went
at the
up
wagon too.
Oh,
It was
okay.
just the three of you
Oh,
and the
oh,
bard
oh.
down in the pit.
Yeah.
So Riker is like, Richter is like, he's leaning against the wagon, half in the bag. He's got half-eaten mushrooms in his left hand and a spliff in his other right hand. And as he wakes up, you look, everything's gone. It's just a wagon wheel propped up against the rock where he passed out from
Sorry,
doing too
guys.
much. And Reggie took off with everything.
Oh, man.
Gone.
Reggie took off
Wagons,
with
animals, everything.
everything?
All
You gotta
the
be kidding me.
stolen goods, the product.
We can
Belfry's
jump
gone.
right in now. No possessions.
You're up there, right?
Yeah.
And you're staying in front of Richter.
Uh-huh.
Give me a perception check as you start looking around, wondering where Belfry went.
Oh, nat 20.
Okay. You look over to an overcropping of rocks nearby. She is tucked up underneath there and fast asleep.
All right.
Oh shit! Who had the paperwork?
Hmm?
Who had the paperwork?
Reggie.
Uh-oh. Sorry, guys.
Hey, man.
Torin went with him.
Dude, you're standing
What-
there.
Sorry.
He's
What
looking
about
up
Torin?
at you, kind of just completely hammered.
Did Reggie have it? Because I thought I had the satchel.
What about Torin? Because Torin, we had rescued Torin, and he was with
Torin's
us.
gone too.
Okay, well I don't know this, but
Yeah.
Because I thought I had the satchel.
I don't think so.
Because I was the one that grabbed it. I didn't think I'd given it to anybody.
She thinks she has everything.
No, I was the one that picked up the satchel.
Well, originally it got given back to Keith,
We don't make him carry shit.
but it had the important documents in it. So he was verifying the documents were in there. If you want to say that he gave it to you, that's fine.
No, I'm trying to look at my notes.
Okay, that's fine. But my understanding was you guys went to investigate the mine, leaving everything back up at the wagons.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're hopped up on something, but you got to get your head straight. We got problems. The boss has jumped in a freaking pit, and there's some goblins talking down there. We might have to take care of.
Okay. I'll hold it together.
All right. Oh, and all our shit's gone. You're laying against a wagon wheel
Richard's like
that's laying against the
finishing what's
wall.
left of it.
Yeah, finish it. Hey. Puff, puff, give. Yeah.
Full
Okay, let's go.
I still
Let's
have
go
the
die.
inkwell and the pen,
Okay.
because those would have been in my backpack.
Okay.
And that map.
So two of you head back into the mine, down
Make small talk with the
into the
goblins.
pit.
Oh, that's
Okay.
way better than a cigar.
And the map and the spyglass.
Okay,
Because those would have been in my backpack.
that's fair. So
Oh
as
shit!
you bring Richter back down,
Yeah.
I should. Oh, okay.
Talia, Richter, and Maggot come back down. You guys can hear like mundane chatter coming from Takit as he's clearly kind of like keeping them busy down below.
Get out of the way.
All right.
Although you just kind of
Yeah.
glide down and then as all of you finish passing through this crystal structure and into this strange kind of like subterranean environment littered with dozens of goblins exchanging coin as each one of you pass through. They're all very wild looking. Like they're all wearing leathers and smocks and mining equipment. They all have strange hair protrusions coming off their heads.
I'm seeing the Lost Boys from Hook.
Yeah, like that. Just very,
Is
very
there-
garish, and just very,
Gotta be a way
avant-garde.
out of my mind
and-
something if you're
yeah.
not gonna sell
Is there
it.
any magic items on
I'll
the
go
floor,
there.
like a
Yeah.
Oh,
robe?
shit.
Actually, everything that the bard was carrying is scattered on the pile, on the dust pile.
Oh, sweet.
No, drive her insane. It's not there.
I picked the stuff up.
He gets so pissed.
I know, she's
Nope, not
such a
there.
Laura
I
Bailey,
know,
isn't she?
right? Oh my god.
I picked the stuff up.
So, who's in charge of you guys down here?
Oh, no one's really in charge. I mean, you just kind of, number one, be cool. Number two, don't piss him off. If you make him mad, I guess that makes him kind of in charge, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, his name's, we call him Creature.
Creature.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is he down?
He's relatively nice. He's just,
He's
you
down
gotta be
here?
patient with him.
Okay.
He's down here, or is the thing we killed up
Yeah,
there?
no, we like to call it being in here.
Hmm.
Are we inside of a gym?
It's
No, I was.
an interesting question. Would you like to meet Creature?
Yes.
But that was mean something. I had to ask him. Just like an insight thing. Are we inside of the gym?
It feels weird. Like as you guys stand there looking at the space, there's an aggregate mound of just pumice and dust in the very center, like as if over time gradual decay has come through the space and created this huge mound. You can see it's a round-ish kind of room with many different hallways that lead off in different directions. But the hallways as they lead off, they're only about 3 feet tall. So they've obviously been designed to cater to the fact that these goblins are,
So they're
kind
not
of-
tunnels, they're halls.
yeah, they're tunnels.
Okay.
They're carved out tunnels, but reinforced to at least give the impression they've been down here for a while. And there's dozens of them all kind of going off. After a while, the remaining goblin, who goes by the name Crick, looks at you and goes, "Oh, how rude of me! So I take you to see Creature. My name's Crick, and you are
I'm Takit.
Takit.
Nice
Good
to meet you,
meet
Crick.
you. Are you aware that you look like my favorite food?
Why is it always
No.
food to keep? Why is it always food?
I don't know.
I've never seen a cricket this big. Anyways, and you are a
Talia.
Talia? Ah! Yeah, you're one of them newer kind of angry goblins. Hey,
Victor, nice to meet you.
bugbears. Yeah, good to see you. Well, you got a little bit of orc complexion going. Oh, you're a bork. Okay. Well, it's a real pleasure to meet the four of you. Sorry about your friend, but if you try to come down here attached to something, it creates an arc of energy, and then you can't come through, and you just kind of get. It took us a while to figure that out. Went through quite a few goblins during that time.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
glad you did.
mind your head. Follow old Crick here. I'll show you the Creature.
Asking about the shape of the tunnels. Are they like squared off? Or are they just like
Yeah, they're
Dugout.
squared off, like they've been neatly mined
Okay.
and carved to be permanent. They're kind of reinforced with stones and boulders because they don't have access to wood down here. There are strange, like cavern fungus and lichen and mushrooms kind of growing in certain splotches and places, giving off like
Hello.
luminescent glow to kind of give the space some light.
That's where they shit. Don't eat it.
It's shit fungus. Used to have that
Now
for
the
dinner
fungus
every
grows on
night.
top.
I wonder if we're gonna go meet a dragon.
So, as they take you, or as Crick takes you through this first tunnel,
So much. Sugar.
everybody give me survival checks, please.
I got a 16.
Okay.
7.
Okay.
6.
Follow me. See, this is superior to dwarven construction. We use the natural rock.
2 plus 2.
4.
4. Oh.
So for you, Maggot, everyone else is genuinely kind of confused, taking in like the way the tunnels are made. You recognize this as kind of like the old way that goblin communities used to live in the kind of during the protective period of time when some of the greater wars were going on. They tunneled deep into cliff sides or deep into old granite mountainscapes. But these gobos, they seem very different. They seem happy. They bicker with each other every now and then, like as you hear Crick kind of just narrating how long they've been here, and he's winding you through all. It's comfortable for you in this space. Meanwhile, Talia's way hunched over, Takit hunched over, and all you can hear is poor Richter's body having to force himself through the tunnels. As his shoulders are wider than the tunnels are, he's hunched over, and this journey lasts for about an hour through these winding tunnels, passing by people that are like mining, working on veins of like precious crystalline structures, and stacks of equipment that goblins come over, they grab it, and they go off to a tunnel and start working.
What are you guys mining
Keep
for?
an eye out for luminary shards as we're down here. Seeing any veins of that.
Yeah.
Know.
Well, yeah, me too.
So as you guys continue to walk and kind of like listening to Crick narrate, suddenly you're standing on an overlook. You come out of the small tunnel and onto this 20-foot wide, 30-foot protruding out overlook that's looking down into this massive canyon. Huge interior cavern, just massive out in front of you. You could hear the rattling of chains, like very loud. And as you kind of look, you could see these chains running from up these strong points from within the cavern structure itself. And Crick kind of, there's a creature.
I look down.
Yeah, as you guys kind of all look over the edge, you watch as this Hydra-like creature begins to kind of like shift and move. And you watch as these 5 heads kind of flourish up with these iron collars around each head. But the eyes are completely blind. And the larger of the 5 heads kind of like just kind of hovers there by,
Oh, it's you, Crick. Thought I smelled chicken. Do you have newcomers down here in the pits?
yeah, creature. We have a Talia. You probably smell maggot already. Smells like us. It's fine.
Takit?
Taki and Richter here. He watches this huge Hydra head just kind of like boils down and hovers above you, and the nostrils flare.
Oh, they're from the above world, are they? Oh, it's been a while since we had strangers, Crick. Always good for entertainment.
Yes. Well, they just wanted to meet you. I hope that's okay, creature.
Yeah, as long as they follow the rules, everything will be fine.
And then you can hear like the other Hydra heads beginning to natter with each other in a strange kind of language that you don't recognize. And they go back and forth for a moment. And
It's
then,
not draconic, right?
no, definitely not draconic.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
The collars around their necks, is there a lock mechanism?
Doesn't look to be. Looks like it's just like,
A solid ring?
it's almost like it grew into it.
Okay.
Is like the flesh grown around it like on a
No,
hook? Oh,
like, which gives you the idea that maybe they're magical.
Okay.
Because you don't see any mechanism of the contraption, but they're not, it's not like it's digging into their flesh. It's almost as if they grew into it and the manacles change shape at the same time. But as the 4 of you stare over the overlook to watch the Hydra's form kind of descend into the darkness below, smattered throughout the interior cavern walls, fractures of familiar looking blue and green light.
luminary
As you
shard.
realize that the Hydra is kind of like layered into a massive exposed pit of luminary shard.
Oh my gosh, I want to
Why?
go down there.
Why are you all chained up there?
Is that one of the rules?
The huge Hydra head comes back up.
What do you mean, chained up? Don't understand. One other person came down here and said that.
The huge head goes hovering towards you. You guys notice Crick is like, oh, I should have said so.
Well,
Creature.
Sorry, what are the
No
rules?
chains.
What
No-
are the rules? Sorry, we don't know all of the rules. What are the rules? Please tell us what the rules are.
So because you mentioned chains, it reflectively responded. Creature or Crick finally gets Creature to kind of like, and the Hydra head kind of descends back down below. So here's the thing. He's insane. Like he's bad shit, fucking crazy. He doesn't think he's a Hydra.
What does he think he is?
He thinks he's a dog.
He's a dog.
So we gotta go with it. He thinks the rattling is just the noise we make mining. He doesn't know that all 5 of his heads are chained. The other heads are so far gone that whenever they have conversations, that's maddening to listen to. It's constant nattering and conversations about just total bullshit. Garbage.
What kind
Really.
of bullshit garbage?
Talking about the creation of the world, the great titan that sundered the god sphere. I don't know any of this shit, but this is what crazy old people talk about. You know, crazy stuff.
Yes, crazy stuff.
Yeah. Well,
how do you get down there?
Oh, we've never been down there. We don't go bother Creature, and Creature don't bother us.
Do you think if I went down there, he'd eat me?
I don't know.
Has he ever tried to eat any of you?
I mean, there's been times that he got a little confused and called us assailants and assassins and keepers of the old celestial order and shit like that. We don't know what that means. And tried to gobble us up. But after a while, he comes back to himself again. And
What does he normally eat?
I don't know. Our shaman says that he lives off the stones below. The shaman says that the pit's filled with luminary shards. And that's how he lives.
Yeah, I think you should go down there.
How far down the pit?
Magnus is like,
Um,
yeah, I think you should go down there, Talia.
How far down the pit is the
Okay,
closest,
okay.
like, shards?
I mean, they're hundreds of feet down below,
Hundreds of feet
way down into the pit itself.
you got
His head-
wings.
I know, and his head came up to the top
Yeah.
Why not?
because that's a lot of falling damage
Why are you gonna fall? You got wings.
that he could bite off.
Come on. He's a dog.
Dogs bite too.
He can't bite a wing off. Come on.
Meanwhile, the head would just have swallowed her whole.
There's magic down there.
Mm-hmm.
Magic
I know, I can
shards.
see.
All the shards
Where's
you'd
Creature's
ever
heads
want.
now, or his main head?
They're way down
You
in the
could
lair,
trade
and you can
those
see
for
them kind of
all
boiling
the-
up from time to time. But then the whole time, the creature, like the heads, are talking to each other, constantly nattering back and forth about a titan, a celestial orb, and the period of creation, and but it's also ramblings of time and death and wars and just this back and forth rambling going on between the different heads.
I'm gonna ask the goblin.
Yeah,
Remember what his name is? What was his name?
Crick.
Crick.
Name's Crick.
Are
Been
there
here for the last 15, 20 minutes.
any
Kid. It's kind of an
luminary
easy
shards?
name. It's 4-letter. What?
Are there any luminary shards anywhere else in the cavern?
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know what a luminary shard is.
See those glowing rocks down there?
Yeah.
That's what they are.
Oh, are they worth anything?
I think they're pretty.
Oh, no, we don't really see any of those up here. Just these strange veins of kind of like crystalline structures. It's what we eat. What keeps us alive.
Are they worth anything?
It's what we eat. It's what keeps us alive.
Are they tasty?
I mean, we don't really taste anything. They just keep us alive.
Why do you want to stay alive? That kind of life.
So how do we get out
Are
of
you kidding me? Look, we got everything we need. We got a big thing that keeps us safe. We unending supply of sustenance. No one ever comes down here and fucks with us. It's a pretty good life.
Hey, boss. Those luminary shards.
Mm-hmm.
You could buy a lot of bags of holding with those,
Mhm.
right? How many bags of holding do you think you could get for those? 30, 40?
Cliff is just like, oh my god, I hate Ivar so much right now.
Yeah, you know what?
Where's
Creature.
where's
I imagine like
Uh,
Talia leans over and shoves Maggot over the edge.
imagine.
where's Belfry?
Creature.
She's She's up sleeping.
Redwood, are you still here?
Yeah, that was
What?
Creature, not crick.
No huge hydra heads floating nearby.
Yes.
you know,
Both eyes are completely blind, by
out,
the way.
out of character. I'm thinking of, do I know any old stories?
You can make a history check.
Do I know any of this stuff that
You
guy
better
Crick
back
was
him up
talking
on this
about?
history check, man. Back him up on the history check.
Guidance.
Guidance.
21.
Guidance.
21. Oh, get a
21.
D4 as well.
22.
Okay. There is an organization called the Dominion that believes that each of the 5 continents of the world were made from a Hydra's existence through its relationship with a god called the Herald.
So our world
Oh,
was
my-
made by this Hydra.
My thought was I was going to exchange stories with Creature, just to try to get him talking to see if he can tell us anything else. So, would you like to trade stories, Creature?
Give me persuasion.
Guidance.
Still trying to figure out why he's chained up down here.
We don't use that word.
Why wouldn't you want to like just fly free and
We don't use that word. Hydras don't fly.
lay down? I don't know what it does.
15.
When
1
dragons have heads,
15?
and wings and stuff.
It's
The
not
head kind of goes, what do you mean? What stories do you think we should talk about?
I don't know. Since you've been here a while and you don't get visitors from up top often, I could tell you a story that I know. And, maybe if you feel appropriate, you can.
You sound a lot like them
I
heralds.
Who?
Are you a herald?
Maggot doesn't.
No, I am not.
Hmm,
I'm Keat.
He's a dragon.
I'm
I know.
not really
That's what
understanding what you want me to talk to you about.
Oh, I mean, I could tell you a story, and then you can tell me a story. Whatever
Well,
you think
tell
is
me a
interesting.
story.
Okay. And I'm thinking, not telling him about the heralds, just based off of that.
His nostrils are like
Yeah.
kind of like flaring. His blind eyes are kind of like focused in on you
Oh.
strangely.
I'll just kind of tell him about our trek to the ogre mage and finding the ogre mage and that whole thing. Do a nice little.
After like about 5 or 10
Performance.
minutes of the storytelling, his huge head settles on an edge of the lookout that looks down into the space below.
What are the other heads doing?
They're just kind of boiling, kind of moving about, nipping at each other.
How big is the creature?
I mean, the space that he's occupying is a good 300 feet straight across, probably 200-300 feet wide. About 100 feet down, you can see his physical body form down below. So the necks are very long, very
They look like
unusually
they can
elongated.
reach all the way.
Yeah, you can
around.
see scrapes and crack marks from the head kind of like running into areas of the precipices on the side. And then about halfway to 3/4 of the way down, you can see the beginnings of these remnants of luminary shard stones, just kind of half buried in there. You can also see beyond that a slight glow emanating out from underneath the body form of the Hydra.
So the other heads aren't distracted too
They are not.
by him talking.
Not by him talking.
And
They seem
can,
plenty distracted by each other.
and they can reach the entire pit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, go on.
About 10 minutes of the storytelling goes by.
I don't wanna get eaten.
He just kind of has his head laid on the overlook, taking up about a good 20-foot portion of it, just his blind eye. And then,
That's an interesting story.
Thank you.
Guess I could tell you one too.
Okay.
What do you know about the world? What do you know about the things that live deep in the world?
and the head kind of turns and looks around. You're watching as Crick is like slowly slinking away, kind of back towards the tunnel, not really wanting to be involved in the story. And for the next 15 minutes, Creature goes on to talk about creation stones, primordial titans, the great herald god known as Hodum, who had struck down the great Titan dreadnought of the Crisp. And he's just kind of like going through these ancient things that you thought were mostly kind of like creation lore. He's doing a really good job of telling you a creation lore story.
Okay.
Is what he's doing.
Okay.
But there's gaps and there's variations and there's a bit of madness that comes and go with the story. And then when he finishes, he just kind of goes, I'm tired. I think I'll sleep for a bit. He watches the massive head just kind of slinks back down into the pit.
Do the others fall asleep?
A few minutes goes by, the four heads stay active, but the large center head seems to be curled up in on its chest, seemingly maybe falling asleep.
But the other 4 are still active.
They're still active, yeah.
One
I don't
head
think
went
I
to
can
sleep.
get- one head went to sleep. I don't,
I
think
don't
I
want to
can-
hurt it.
I don't want to hurt it either, but I don't want it to hurt me when I go down there and try and get some luminaries.
I have animal friendship spell. I don't know.
I don't think it's would count as an animal.
Yeah.
Hydra? I think
It's
it's
an
a
intelligent
monster, not an
creature.
animal.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind.
Unless it's a
Befriend
dog.
monster. Is that a spell?
If it thinks it's a dog, maybe it works.
It thinks it's a dog. Maybe it would work.
Hmm.
Eventually, you see Crick come out of the tunnel. Yeah. Oh, I've never seen it tell a story that long before.
Do the other 4 heads ever go to sleep too?
No, they just flail in pain.
They flail and they're all blind as well.
They're blind, deaf, and they just flail about. They don't really do anything. Kind of nip at each other from time to time.
Do they ever respond to anybody else? Do they ever eat anyone? Do they?
No, not really. Old creature just stays down there in that big bed of rocks and green glowy things, and that's just how he is.
Are there any tunnels that open up down to the floor down there?
No, I don't know. We've never gone down there before.
Can I see any tunnels?
I mean, you're pretty far up. You make an investigation or perception check to see if you see a hint of anything that might give you an indication.
Or you can use that certain telescope that someone's got.
That's right. I'm gonna pull my spyglass out. Can I have advantage on my perception?
You start looking
Investigation.
down,
My investigation.
see what you can see.
I can cast a cantrip down
Oh, I got a natty 20.
The creature's lair is made up of what could only be called centuries of erosion of luminary shard.
Mhm.
That it's just this pillowy dust cloud that it kind of
Luminary
layers
dust.
on. And that's where that effervescent green blue light is kind of emanating up from. And you can see from the kind of behavior of the other heads shifting in this space, it's when you begin to realize that this pit or this huge opening that you're staring into at one point was all the way up here. This thing over centuries of time has ground its way deeply into this cavernous chamber until it finally like hit this luminary reposit. And now its form seems to be like connected in a symbiotic way with the luminary reposit, but you don't see any tunnel exits. You don't see any pathways. It feels like it's in complete isolation at this point, other than the overlook entrance that you're looking down into.
Should I try it?
Are you trying? No. You can't go down there.
No.
He'll eat you for sure. Those other heads are so blind and daft, they'll crush you before you can get. Look, you want to come to our where we live
Yeah.
and
Yes,
maybe
let's
take
do
some
that.
time?
He's sleeping right now.
Yeah.
He won't be sleeping later.
Oh, he comes and goes. I mean, if you're look, I just come and have a conversation with Trin. Then.
Okay.
Talk to our shaman. If she can't convince you what a bad idea that is, you know what? We'll figure out a way to get you down there. But you just got here.
Okay.
Is any of this weird situation with the stone that we jumped through and the Hydra tickling anything in my fucked up memory at all?
This may be the most bizarre thing you've ever seen.
Okay.
It's not triggering your mind in the sense that there's an obvious explanation for it. While he was rambling about the creation lore of the world, I mean, could this actually be the Dominion creature and I mean, it feels mostly like listening to someone else regurgitate superstition. They just happen to be a massive ancient Hydra that seems to be slowly have already gone mad or is in the process of going mad. But doesn't like trigger a particular foible, fable, or story that gives you precision of what your experience. Well, anyways, follow Crick. Just not too far from here. Crick like, narrows his eyes at Maggot.
Are these real goblins?
I mean, they seem to be.
We don't eat rocks.
I mean, they have like part of their form appears to be goblinoid, although there's little inconsistencies there. Most goblins don't have hair. These ones feel a little bit taller than the average goblin, and they're pretty corded. They got good physiques, but they don't hunch over like most of the tunnel goblins do in the kind of typical mining areas of the Crooked Finger. There's some inconsistencies about them. They seem strange. So Crick begins to lead you guys back into the main tunnel that you were in that he brought you throughout to this point. Another 20 minutes of traveling. I would say at this point you're feeling like you're pretty deep down, but you hit a transition pocket from it being warm to cooler. And you come out into this massive expanse of a bottomed out interior cavern and canyon. You can see that in the dark, all the cavern space goes up into the darkness. You can see creatures coming and going through the rocks and stuff, but laid out in front of you about 80 feet down below and sprawling out in this massive cavern is this huge mushroom-like forest. Massive forest of mushrooms. Some are small, some are gigantic. The larger ones seem to have been turned into buildings. You can see goblin creatures coming in and out of the different mushroom-like buildings. You can see them riding, like one goblin goes riding by and kind of waves at Crick, and he's kind of like riding this huge spider as it goes by. It just kind of goes right on by. You can see a makeshift cart that's been fabricated from metal and other kind of crystalline structure, and it's being pulled by this massive glowworm as it's filled with these great heaping mounds of crystalline structures and being pulled into the massive mushroom forest. There must be hundreds of goblins here, hundreds of goblins. You watch as this huge flying insect flitters by with like a goblin on its back, and oh, hey, Crick! As it banks around. And you watch as bats with goblins on their backs come down and kind of flourish deeper into the mushroom forest as well. Well, anyways, this is our home, Gobbles.
Gobbles?
The Gobbles, the great city of Gobbles. Founded by a great goblin king, Mr. Gobbles. And he named it Gobbles.
Sounds about right.
Well, anyways, follow me. Crick starts leading you going down the pathway that will take you into the cavern floor. He's slightly ahead, leaving the four of you kind of a little bit further behind. And he's kind of going, over here is the great eye watch. And, oh, you don't want to go up there. He's just kind of like pointing in all these different directions. But it's going to take a little while to get down there.
I'll pay attention.
I'm looking for tunnels that lead potentially to the exit
Give me a perception check.
with my spyglass. I'm watching the map. Nine.
Nine. I mean, other than the luminescent nature of the mushrooms and the lichen and all the mold that's kind of like glowing in the interior, it's kind of like a permanent sense of twilight in here, which kind of ruins your dark vision at the same time because it's just enough light to filter out your dark vision, but it's not quite enough light to let you see everything in great depth. So as you know, you're walking through, you just don't see any other points of exit or entrance of any familiarity, because the closer you're getting into the edge of this mushroom forest, the further away you're getting from the cavern walls and like the split rock faces at this point. Well, anyways, grab a seat right here. I'm gonna go look for Trin, and I'll bring her down to you.
Thank you, Crick.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. By the way, don't eat anything from that mushroom. You can try that one, although, anyways, I'll be right back. And he kind of like puts on his goggles and throws up his hood on his duster smock and like
Were
heads
there
over.
children as we were coming down on the way?
Bravo, children.
Do we see kids?
No
running
children.
around? Okay.
Are all of the goblins that we're seeing male?
So far, but he describes the shaman as Trin and referred to Trin as she.
Yeah.
Could help you.
Could just be that, kids are hiding just out of safety because we're strangers.
I'm gonna look at Richter. Do you think these mushrooms are safe to eat, or do you think they're like your funny mushrooms?
Let me detect poison.
Oh, you don't need to detect. Like he's looking at the purple and red one. Like, oh, that's the biggest funny mushroom you've ever seen. They don't get that big.
That's funny mushroom. I don't want to eat funny mushrooms.
And you're like, oh yeah, that one will kill you in 2 seconds.
Freaking eat gems.
Yeah, you're just looking. These are all mushrooms you're familiar with from both your garden and your harvest, but they never get this big up top ever.
But they are from our world.
Appears to be, yeah, or they could be.
He just runs off.
Is the ground?
We just find him on top of a mushroom, all just spun out. Yeah, with his eyes like hypnotoads. We lost another guy.
You might want to harvest some of those because
so
we
they
might
do.
be able to use.
Yeah, Reggie took off with all my other ones.
I was meaning some of the ones that might kill people. And,
Yeah.
as
Keep
long
them
as
for
touching
poison.
them won't kill you.
Store
Do you
some
have to
away for
consume them, or
poison.
is it touching them that will kill you?
He just says it'll kill you in seconds.
Is it eating it, or is it touching it?
Some mushrooms like that, under small circumstances, get a little spore or mushroom oil on you. It's bad, but these massive ones, who knows?
Then just take some of your funny mushrooms if you want some funny mushrooms. If the other ones are gonna kill you, don't.
They eat gems.
Yes,
Do the math.
that's not math.
They gotta be.
That's not math.
They gotta be
That's math.
freaking nuts.
So I'm gonna. Is the ground that we're standing on dirt?
Yeah, it feels like many years
Mycelium.
of like rotted mushroom,
Did we go
guano,
up
and
and then down, or
you've been steadily going down and down and down. And down.
about how many 100 feet?
I mean, you're looking at your right and your left, and this is about as deep as that other cavern would be where the lair was.
I'm gonna see if we dig a little bit, gouge the ground. Any luminary shards down there?
No, you kind of no residue, no dust, no effervescence that would tell you that there's luminary shard here.
Try some of the giant mushrooms, maybe.
Give me investigation as you start checking.
What hand do you use?
Guidance. I use my foot.
Her talons.
Yes.
Oh gosh, she's picking around like a bird looking for a worm. They always do that.
12.
Scrambling
sorry,
grounds,
22,
scrambling grounds.
22 plus 3, 20, 22 plus 3 is 25.
You don't find any luminary shard, but as you kind of dig around the base of one of the mushrooms, there are very thin trails of the crystalline structure you remember seeing up above, like up before.
Do I
Like,
break any of it off?
do you want to touch it?
Well, I was thinking to
I love it when he says that. You want to taste
Taste
it? Well, no.
Oh, you just cleared some dirt around the base of the mushroom, and you can see these thin tendrils of those crystalline structures kind of like pathing through the mushroom and pathing deeper into the forested space. I mean, you probably dug down just maybe about 8-9 inches of the dirt.
There's crystals down there, not luminary shards.
It's probably what's feeding the mushrooms.
I think that's what's feeding everything down here.
Yeah.
I don't think these are really goblins.
Let me take a look at those. What do these crystals look like?
Give me a nature check.
Nature songs.
Guidance!
Guidance!
This is like a
Guidance ain't
this is like a
gonna help
fucked up avatar.
Yeah, I mean, it looks a lot like what you've already seen. There's some kind of arcane light pulsing through it, like you saw up above. It's hard to know if it's symbiote or not. I mean, it seems to be everywhere at this
Richter.
point.
Do you recognize these crystals? Can you make anything out of them?
Give me a nature check if you want, Richter.
Killing me tonight.
20?
Yep.
Probably the better shot than me. Or still better shot than me.
Where's my nature on here? Oh, there it is. +4, 8.
8? I mean, what are you doing?
No, she like opened up the cookies
Oh,
under
yeah.
the table like it's gonna be quieter. I go, it doesn't make any noise.
I think it was quieter.
Try these, by the way. They're very garlicky.
Oh, I'm stuffed. I had pizza.
Pizza.
I had the pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it, and probably the only thing that you can confirm is that if these crystalline structures are kind of like everywhere, chances are it's probably feeding this organic manifestation somehow.
I'll touch it.
You want to try and eat the crystal?
Did you find a worm?
Oh, I'll touch it. I'll touch the crystal.
Worm.
You're gonna touch the crystal?
touch
I
the
think we
crystal.
should make Maggot touch the crystal.
I'll touch the
I
crystal.
ain't touching no crystal. He's
Yeah,
already
like,
a ghost
reach out.
anyway.
It's strangely cool. Sends a slight buzzing sensation up your fingertips. And then after a while, it gets very cold to the
Tingly?
touch. Yeah. Very tingly and cold to the touch.
Okay. Didn't really hurt. Just got cold and tingly.
That might be why the cavern is so much more cooler than the other cavern.
Hello.
Step up.
I'm Shaman Trim. Crick tells me that you come from above. Is this correct?
Yes.
Ah,
I am
we don't get above visitors that often, especially ones that look like pine Anyways, how can old Chin be of service to you?
Oh,
Well,
Is your intention to stay?
No.
is there a way to get out?
There is a way to get out, of course.
Okay.
You merely go back the way you came
Oh, how do we go up?
by going down even further.
I see.
Huh?
Yes, this place is quite strange. Have you ever heard of a place called the Feywild?
Mm-hmm.
This is but a mere fragment of it. Now, my children, they keep everything nice and tidy down here.
Oh.
So dirty.
Oh.
I get it.
What do you mean? You get it?
Yeah, you eat the rocks.
Oh, well, as a consequence of how my children are made, that's what they must do.
They ain't goblins, right?
Oh, they are, of a sort. You're a real interesting fella. Can I
Yeah.
examine you for a moment? Just for a moment.
Like,
Do you have a probe?
like cut me open and check inside, or just like look at me?
Oh, are you open to being cut open and looked inside?
Well, I'm just
No.
asking you. I don't want to be.
Oh, well, you mentioned it as if it's something you enjoy.
I just wanted to find out what your intentions were.
Oh, well, no, I just wanted to take a moment. You have some flaky skin there that's peeling off your neck. May I take that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Put it in the skin box.
Opens up like a little wooden box, closes it, puts it back on her belt. Future must always be looked after. Wouldn't you say?
I work
course.
for the maggots. That's what I'm talking about.
Do you want a feather?
No, we don't eat meat down here. Thank you.
Feathers aren't meat.
Sure, I guess. Say anything
So
else
what's,
you need?
So
Would you like to see Gobbles?
what's up with the Hydra thing?
Oh, creature, he's quite harmless. Quite insane.
Oh, the
Would he let me go down into his pit with him?
Well, why would you want to go down there?
Because I like the shiny rocks.
Oh. If you like shiny rocks so much, there's shiny rocks everywhere.
I like those shiny rocks.
I imagine I could take you to see Creature's lair if you are so inclined. He resides in an old temple.
Oh. Temple to.
The Dominion, of course.
I see.
How long has he been there?
Oh, I don't know. Longer than us.
How long have you been here?
Longer than Creature. Well, not as long as Creature.
Well, if
Maybe
Creature's
as
one of
long
your
as
children,
Creature.
then you've probably been here longer.
Oh, well, my children are.
No, Creature. I was getting Crick and Creature mixed up. Sorry.
Oh, well, yes. You would get things mixed up, wouldn't you now?
Up is down, left is right.
Would you like to see the temple then? Is that what you've come to see all this way? Just to look at where the creature resides?
We can see Gobbles too.
Oh, you want to see the city first?
Sure.
Sure.
And like as she leads you towards the like beginning edge of the city, her behavior has you double checking all the other goblins now. And that's when you realize the oddity. They all look the same. Like they all look
Clones?
exactly like each other. The only difference is they're wearing different gear
Yeah.
and their hair is different. Other than that, you're like, oh fuck.
this is that Rick and Morty episode where the guy has to make young creatures.
Oh shit. Like they all look the same. Every single
I'm
one.
really thinking it's like the one where Rick fucked
Yeah.
the planet.
Oh, yeah.
The rock people.
I was looking at the one that gets trapped in the little Candyland area, and he has to.
Oh, where he's
Yeah, that one.
That was freaking
That was gross as fuck. But yeah, I was kind of thinking.
yeah, but
that
all of
Oh,
those
this
looked
rock.
different.
Yeah.
King Tommy!
King Tommy,
Dinner time.
dinner time. Damn it!
What were they called? They were called what were the creatures called? Yeah,
What was the name of the world?
now I gotta watch that again.
Yeah,
We
right.
have to watch it.
Shit.
All right. No, I was thinking about the one where Rick fucked the planet and the planet was spewing out all of those people
yeah.
that looked exactly the same.
I am. It's still come out.
So we go around.
So over here, you have the great memorial to the great eye god, Hubra. Over here, you have the mushroom community where my children live. Over here is where I live. Here's the great theater. And she just kind of like takes you this concentric series of curves and loops through Gobbles, showing you all these different things, and goes, well, I have shown you Gobbles. Now, are you sure you wouldn't just love to stay here with us? Certainly. To go to the Temple of the Dominion is, well, a bit of a journey, but if you insist, I can take you.
Let's get out of here.
Is the Temple of the Dominion on this plane?
Do you mean where we currently exist?
Yes.
This fragment
the Fae leads to many different places. This particular path I will take you on takes you towards the Dominion. And there in the temple lies Creature. And the precious stones that your friend seems to want to enjoy.
When does the temple exist?
Oh, now perhaps, if you'd like. Would you like when to be now? Or are you a person that would rather have then be there?
When will now be now? Soon.
Soon. He's probably tripping out right now.
You could see
Tripping balls.
What's happening?
the Dominion Temple where Creature's lair is, as it is
In that pit back there.
as it is where we.
Yes,
So-
now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Your
Yes.
friend is very
What are
strange.
you talking about? Now is always now.
He wants to
No,
make
it's
sure we're
not.
not going someplace else.
Now's now and
Sometimes now
here's
could
here.
be
So let's get going.
Over there or
Neither
then,
of those
or
statements is true.
maybe. Not all nows are permanent.
It's true because I says it is. Come on.
Follow me. And she
Don't
takes you
confuse me.
out of the greater outskirts of Gobbles and back into the open expanse of the cavern. And eventually she's leading you through this kind of like forested, like mushroom area that's completely wild and overgrown. Creatures are skittering
All still-
out and under from everything
All still-
around you.
Are they all still kill you mushrooms?
I mean, every now and then you watch as Richter peels off a piece and stuffs a little piece in his bag, bypasses other ones, and just in his borkiness, he's just kind of like,
So I'm going to sidle up to Richter. Are any of those edible for food, or are they all going to get you high?
mostly hallucinogenics at this point.
They're all going to get you high.
Oh, yeah, it'll be fun.
Hands you one that
Seen a Rick
smells
and
like
Morty
smoked
episode about
cheese.
that too.
This one tastes
Oh,
exactly
cheese.
like
The
smoked
pound?
cheese.
The pound of luminary shards that we recovered. Can I pull out a small one and offer it to her?
Oh, what is this?
Where we come from, these are useful.
Oh,
That doesn't mean she.
pleasurable. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll save it for later for study. Thank you. He's like, gentlemen.
I want my cut from that one. You owe me.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like you can give her some of his hair and she'd be happier.
I already gave her a piece of skin. Yeah.
Yes.
There's no
you did.
lotion down here.
Thank you. Anyways,
If you want more, I could peel some off.
to go deeper.
I could.
How about an eye? You want an eye?
No, we don't want him to lose an eye.
I make so many
Why am I
children with
here?
this one. As you guys kind of course
Wasn't
through the last
magically
bit
attached
of
to her,
the,
I'd be gone.
you get to the edge of this section of the forest, and there's a shimmering barrier in front of you. Be mindful. Hopefully your thoughts are, well, pure. And she steps through.
Pure how? Because I have a dirty mind.
Go.
You guys watch as Taki steps through.
I don't know about. I got a simple mind. I'll just walk through.
Richter's not even paying attention, so he just
Yeah.
walks through the barrier. As all of you kind of feel yourself pulse through this strange barrier, you're now standing at a tunneled entrance of an ancient kind of like building entrance. There's a kind of like word inscripted upon the top of it, but there's different words that are missing, but the remaining letters that you could see spell out Dominion. And
It's blank, blank, minion.
yeah, like it's just, it's what's
D
there.
blank blank.
Minion, Dominion.
Welcome to the great temple of Dominion. Please follow me. She begins
Probably
to
so.
walk through
Probably
the tunnel
said something
entrance.
else. that it's D and then blank 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 minion. So it's D minion.
The minion live in the cave.
There's like pass through the tunnel.
Or-
But anyway, it's been here for a very long time. We only recently noticed it, maybe a good, I don't know, 200-300 years ago. Although sometimes time is difficult to understand when you're as old as I am. But that's fine.
How old are you?
Don't know.
Maybe it was waiting for us to
That
come.
sounds like a beginning of a joke.
You don't know how old you are?
No, I've quite forgotten. I stopped counting after 1,000 years.
That's pretty old.
Yes.
Do you find yourself forgetting things the older you get?
Who are you?
Creatures older
To
than me.
keep.
Oh. Who are you?
Talia.
Oh, no, I never forget anything.
Okay.
Anyways, follow me. Lead you down into the tunnel even deeper and deeper. And then the smell hits you. Like this musty, vegetative fertilizer smell.
Smells like home.
Hydra poop?
There is huge puffs of like green iridescence coming out from up in front of you.
Like swamp gas?
No,
Like luminary dust.
like luminary
Oh,
dust.
okay.
We're gonna be snorting. We're gonna be like freaking.
And you're now passing
Stage
through it,
5
just
field
kind of like
navigator.
pulsing out until you're now where the lair of the Hydra is, and you can see its huge body spread out in this place. You can see the huge like mounds of ground down dust of luminary shard just kind of dusted out and spread out everywhere. I need everyone to give me con saves, please.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm,
I'll give you advantage to keep.
Yeah. So that's a D4.
No, that's guidance. I'll give you advantage. So roll 2d20 and take the higher of the two.
I don't think I can do
That's not going to
guidance
be the
on-
higher. So
You can.
I have a brownie.
not much better.
Please. 19.
19 plus 1.
Okay, so 20 for Richter,
19.
19 for Talia, 7 for Takit,
9.
9 for Maggot. You two are as high as fuck. You can, as you breathe the luminary shard dust, it's like coming out of your nose, back out of your mouth. It's just giving you this like, whoa. You're like just looking around, barely able to focus. Richter just seems to be Richter. Talia is like, you don't know if it's the way she breathes air, but she's not quite affected by it yet. At this point, you're now, a few hundred feet away from where the body of the Hydra kind of lays in this kind of congealed stasis of just atrophy. You can see the great coiled up neck and head of the center head, long, fast asleep, and the other four are up and about, flailing back and forth. And every now and then, one of the heads, and then you just watch the luminary death kind of like rain down onto the pile down below.
Is it luminary dust mixed with a bunch of stuff, or is it just straight luminary dust?
Give me a nature check as you examine it.
18.
Feels like it might be mixed with other things as well. At least the dust part is.
I'm going to start looking for shards.
Okay, give me investigation as you start looking. You two are currently
Unable to.
unable to really do anything. You're functioning. You're just like, oh, you're like just watching all this shit play out around you.
22.
Anything you want to be doing, Richter?
Richter. Look for shards.
I'm looking for shards.
Give me investigation. Very
Guidance.
meta of you, by the way. That's the bad kind of meta, what she just did.
That would be what Talia actually said though.
I'm
Right.
in investigation, right?
Yep.
Is Trin still with us?
Yes, I'm still here, of course. That's
12.
Yeah.
I got a 12 on
12?
investigation.
Okay.
I feel funny.
You
How did you
find
come to
a
be here?
broken off hand-sized chunk
Holy crap!
of luminary shard.
I stick it in my pocket. Keep
Pick
looking.
it up. And you
Right.
continue to look around. So,
Can I say, well, yeah, I could get us out of here with that, with the ritual. That's plenty enough.
Yeah, we should find more if we can.
How long has he been? How did he come to be here?
so now he is here before us. Well, before me and my children. I think I might have been down here as long as him. I'm not sure.
How
The
big-
endings of worlds are so difficult to comprehend.
How big was he when you came here?
Oh, he was not quite this big, but he was big. Old creature. Such a good soul.
You are a delightful person.
Oh, thank you.
He tells good stories.
Yes, he does. He's quite mad, but he tells stories about things that people should know about. That's all. Keep him hidden.
We told him a story too.
Oh. Well, as long as creature didn't kill you, I'm sure everything is quite fine. Well, I will leave you to it. You know where to find me.
So we just follow that way back to get to you.
Sure. Feel free.
Yeah.
And she turns and just kind of disappears in the darkness of the tunnel.
I don't know if I want her to leave us.
What?
Tiki's
Everyone, creature's going to feed now. All gather round. So these goblin heads. No, son of a.
I feel kind of lightheaded.
All right, we should go.
As you guys stand around, you notice a little box on the ground where she was. And the lid's open.
What's in it?
Is it the box that she put his skin in?
Uh-huh.
What's in it?
It's empty.
What's in it?
She's really strange.
She's
Okay.
delightful.
Did you find any shards?
I like
No, you were the only one that found a semi-good piece of a shard.
How many pounds did you say that is?
About a third of a pound.
How do you know? You're high as hell. So am I.
I mean, that's what I was just asking.
Well, I
her.
mean, you just have
I'm
some
asking her.
challenges, but you know.
Okay, I'm the bad guy.
Are there
Got
any
like
more
a
immediately visible before I
cocaine on
shuttle
the
them
top.
out?
Cocaine dust
No,
on my
but you
nose.
begin to notice dozens of
Manolo.
small green globules of flesh beginning to sprout and form.
Okay, we gotta go.
You're a
Come on, guys.
papa.
You guys
You're a
they're
papa.
gonna. There's gonna be a lot more goblins. Let's go.
You're a papa.
Let's
You
go.
want some
Let's
more
go.
shards?
Let's go.
Nope,
maybe.
let's go.
Yeah, let's
Come
go.
on. Let's
Nah,
go.
I'm good.
Okay.
I like it here.
No,
Okay.
Let's go back.
I'm glad you like it here. Now let's go.
Let's go back.
We'll come back later.
He's probably gonna be
Come on.
out with these. Yeah.
Like hands and arms start breaking out of the little green
We
like
don't want to kill
pods
them.
and
Come on, let's go.
nodules.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
You watch as like something that looks like maggot, except it has like purple and yellow hair coming off of its head, pulling itself out of the flesh bags, like
This is
liquid
great.
coming out with them.
Let's go.
I'm going. I'm going.
So what are you casting?
What? No, I thought we were walking out the.
Oh, I thought you mentioned that she had enough luminary shard for you to cast something.
No.
That was with a ritual.
Oh,
with the
okay.
ritual. No.
So you guys are leaving the area or going back the direction you came?
Going back the direction. we came.
Give me a survival check.
I'm high. I can't do it.
Well, you can, just have disadvantage.
16.
Jesus, I suck.
16?
Guidance.
7.
19. Oh no.
Guidance for everyone? No. 7.
I could do
Sorry.
it one at a time.
What am I doing? Survival?
Survival.
18.
Guidance.
18.
You guys
Nobody did
turn
that.
and look around. You two kind of like turn back where the tunnel is, and you're kind of watching, and there's this gradual spreading of blue and green fog that's kind of like emanating outwards from where you guys are. And it's for those of normal height, which would be the 4 of you or 3 of you, except for Maggot. Maggot's like up to your chin. For the rest of you, it's kind of like at your waist level. All of you feel a little bit turned around.
Great.
You look in, there's the tunnel, and all of you go racing for the tunnel back where you remember her going through. As you go racing through the tunnel, you're back where you just sprinted from.
We're on the other way because everything's backwards here, right?
Yeah, well, she said to go up, we have to go down.
Let's go down.
I back up in reverse.
Guys watch as Maggot starts backing up in reverse through the tunnel. And then he's back by you again, backing up reverse through the tunnel, and he's back by you again.
No, we gotta run away from the tunnel to go down the tunnel.
There's now at least 3 dozen maggots running around naked. With hair.
I do not want to see Maggot naked.
My people.
Run the other way.
They all stop around Maggot. And in unison, kind of like begin to bar their teeth. You got crystals?
Yeah, they're back over by that Hydra thing.
Like a dozen heads turn to look. Okay. And then the dozen naked maggots start going back towards the Hydra.
I'm gonna try going away from the cave to go. Trying to go backwards to go forward.
Yeah, and every time you do, you reappear in front of
I only
them.
do it once. If
Huh?
I reappear in front of them, I only do it once.
Yeah. And then you try another angle. And then you reappear, you try another. It's almost like you're in
I
this loop.
close my eyes and just start walking forward.
Okay. As you start walking forward, eventually you guys lose track of Takit in the fog.
How'd you do that?
Close my eyes.
I'm gonna grab a hold of Maggot so we don't lose him.
This is like feathery freaking thing with mites on it touching me.
With mites,
Hands.
she
No.
brains.
Okay.
Blood lice.
Yeah.
The wings
Blood
come out
lice.
of the back.
Oh,
takes-
okay.
Like angel wings.
Okay. Oh, all right.
She takes dust baths. Well, the mites flurry off. You can hear like dozens of feet. But eventually, eventually with all your eyes closed, you're kind of wandering, following Takit's voice. And before long, you're out of the fog and you're on the opposite end of the cavern.
Oh, cool.
Around
But
the
you-
Hydra?
Yeah, on the opposite end of where the Hydra is. You're on the opposite side of it. That's when you kind of like all turn and you could hear dozens and dozens of maggot voices on the other side, screaming and yelling and, you know, where's the crystal? Where's the crystal? Like kind of just like barking at each other. And then it diminishes. And then eventually the Hydra body kind of diminishes. And then suddenly there's another shimmering barrier in front of you.
Does it look like the one we came through?
Does not.
Oh, I'm walking through.
I'll go through.
Let's go.
I ain't staying
Let's
here.
go.
Great.
You guys walk through the barrier. Hear crickets. You hear sound of insects and wind and breeze.
Open my eyes.
And as
Oh,
you
we
guys
opened our eyes
open
before.
your eyes, looking around, you're outside the entrance of the mines.
Nice.
And as you kind of turn to look around, you know, down to go up. You're at the furthest point down. This barrier led you out here. And it's just like, turn to look around. The only thing that you see is a wheel leaning up against a stone, which is where you found Richter leaning up against previously.
And it's
You can see all the sets of wagon tracks leading off in the direction of Takit's home, back in the direction that you guys were originally traveling. You're out of there. Feels like you're out of there for sure.
Feels like we're out of there. For
Yeah,
sure.
you're at the mine entrance. You can see.
The
You
remnants of the.
Yeah, you can see it, but it looks like it's been sitting there for a while.
Yeah, I look at the stars and see if they've changed significantly.
Look up. Give me an insight check
nature check for the
for the corpse of the
ice worm. I mean,
no,
crystal worm.
A is
That might
16.
Belfry.
mineral
the
might.
mineral mite.
Belfry. There's just some bones there.
No response. You look over that rock outcrop. No sign of Belfry over there.
Yes. Dumbass. That.
Is she in the cave?
She
I'm looking at the
was.
mineral might. No.
What'd you get?
16.
16.
Is it the same,
Five.
same season
5.
or is it
It-
years later?
Looking at the stars, it's been a week.
It's been about a week. So my time's up.
It's been a week.
Yeah, you didn't want to do that anyways.
Well, let's head back home.
It's very much late in the day at this point.
If it's still your home.
When I head back inside and sleep in the entrance, it's been a week since all those things are dead, so it should be safe in there.
Wait a minute. I
Something
ain't
else
going
might-
back in there.
Well,
No,
call
just in
inside
the
there
entrance.
and see if Belfry's in there.
I called her. She was there. She came out.
She might not have heard you in the cavern.
She's a bat.
They hear flies fart.
Yeah.
Flies don't
You can hear
fart.
flies wing on the wing at 300 yards.
When did you start drinking out of that medical jug?
Yeah, so it looks like a urine sample.
Yesterday.
It's
I
ginger
can't
ale,
find
knowing her.
it's ginger ale. I can't find any of my big tall.
Yeah, they're all at home, washed, and in the cabinet.
I know.
You know what would have been funny is if you did like a cleric that treats people by the taste of their urine, and then you could have that on the table and go, oh yeah, you're poisoned. Oh
I just thought y'all.
oh no, you have syphilis. I
you
mean,
need
cure
more
disease.
iron.
Yeah, you need more iron in your diet. Yeah. Piss drinker. Barnabas
Start
piss
walking
drinker.
home.
Well, you're
Wait.
our survivalist. Should we
It's
stay here for
it's
the
like
night or
early
keep
evening at
moving?
this point.
And we've been up all day.
Maybe it's hard to know.
Been up a
all
week.
Are we
feeling
tired?
tired?
You're tired. Yeah, it's been a. I mean, you fought the creature.
And we're
And
about
let's-
we're about half day away from my house.
Yeah, about a half a day.
and
But
let's
now it's like
sleep.
early evening, so
We don't want to be
you could
traveling.
travel through the night and get
Yeah.
there in the evening, or you
I-
could rest up.
Can I
now.
do a
It's up to
survival
you.
check to see if that would be like because predators are normally out at night.
Do a survival check.
Raptors.
Fucking God, you! Every time I fucking need you, what are you doing? Yeah. So a 12.
12. I mean, this close to his personal residence, the Myers. The closer you get to Keith's residence and the
Safer it is.
the small Meyer community. I mean, you might run into a couple things, but nothing you don't think you can't
All right.
handle.
I say we push through.
I'm down with that.
Okay, let's push through.
Okay,
Richter?
so you guys
Push through.
decide to head back towards the residence and
Yep.
spend the early evening into mid-evening until you get to the promontory that leads up in the direction of Keith's residence, and then towards the lesser Meyer down below the small community of the Meyer.
I've been trying to keep track of the wagon wheels. If
They've
they
been
veer off.
steadily staying on the road.
Okay.
In fact, when you get to that crossroad point, you see that all the wagon tracks lead up towards Keith's
Oh,
residence.
shit.
And then looking down to the right, it's just lots of foot traffic and normal traffic that would take you down to the lesser Meyer town, down below at the foot of your residence. Other than time passing, everything seems relatively normal.
All right.
Okay.
Just make your way up the main path up to the front of the residence, and there are all of your original wagons are out front. All the creatures and animals are in the stablery that normally Richter takes care of. You guys are looking. There's lights on in the residence. The wagons that Torin used to travel here are gone, and there just seems to be one of your guards, like kind of hanging out by the front pathway that leads up towards the entrance of your residence. Us?
Sorry, we were
Oh yeah, you've been
distracted.
hold on. And there's a whistle, and you see this bat comes flying down out from above the residence and nearly tackles and tumbles over into Maggot. And
Ah. There.
starts nudging you.
I take it Torin left.
As
soon as he got back?
he tried to hold off as long as he could. He left some messages written back up in your. Everything okay, boss?
Yeah, we were delayed.
Okay. Well, the big guy, Reggie.
Yes.
He delivered everything. Said something about it being more of a tax burden to let the equipment linger inside the cave. So we have all the crates of supplies over there in the back warehouse.
Excellent.
All of your personal possessions have been taken up to your rooms and everything.
Thank you.
Reggie went back with Torin, back to Castle Spire, or Crown Spire, sorry. But Everything else okay, boss?
Yes, I think we need to prepare baths for the night and meal, and then we'll
Oh,
call it a night. It's been a long week.
I guess so. Anyways, I'll have the kitchen get you something to eat. And
What's wrong with you?
kind
been
of
gone
thought
a
you were all thought you were all dead.
We've been gone a week.
Well, Reggie said you went into the mine. He waited there for like 2 or 3 days, and then finally Torn convinced them that we should go. They're probably dead.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, they said that Reggie said it was a write-off to leave the stone. No offense, it's just what Reggie said.
Understood. Thank you.
Okay. Well, anyways, I know you
Get
help you
yourselves-
with your things.
Yeah.
Kind of like guides you in. The main hall of the house is alive with the staff realizing that you're back, and you can hear water being run up in the kind of like the nethers of the different towers. And
Oh yeah, my new room.
yeah, you have Bronco's room now.
Yeah, Bronco's room.
Yeah.
Throw all this shit out in the hallway.
Yeah, just throw it out the window.
Yeah. Throw it out to the peasants.
It's late evening as you guys settle in for your long rest, so you can click off your long rest.
Yay.
As soon as my long rest is done, I'm going to start preparing the ritual to take us to Crownspire.
Okay.
All right.
Let me double check one thing here real quick. All right.
You timed that really well.
Hmm?
You timed that really well.
Did I?
It's 9:45.
Oh. So this is going to be a good stopping point because you guys have returned back to the residence, taking your long rest. This way I can prep, hopefully, our new players next Tuesday to get ready for when we come back
Meet
off
them
break.
in Crownspire.
Yep.
Clifton
So
wants to
thanks
do
for
something.
everybody for coming out for a kind of annotated session tonight. Since we had 2 players drop, I'm kind of setting setting things up a little bit to help our newer players get settled in. We will be off next Tuesday. We'll be coming back. Actually, no, we'll be off the next 2 Tuesdays. That's 4th of July.
Oh.
4th of July is a Tuesday?
Yes. You're closed 4th of July.
I still want to play. We're going to a party.
Yeah. I know. So we are off the next 2 weeks. We have 4th of July coming up. 2 additional players will be out of town that first week, and obviously we'll be taking the 4th of July off as well. So summer is here. This always happens every summer, but after 4th of July, we'll be back to a normal schedule. So thank you everybody for your patience, and be safe, be kind, and don't forget to play a game. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
See you in a couple
Bye.
weeks.
Good night, everybody.